If you've ever wondered what will happen when you restore life to your soil, this video is for you. In today's day and age, we like quick fixes, we like things that are easy, and we like things that are fast. And this is a problem because we don't take time to do things the right way. Let's take, for example, restoration of life and keeping our soil healthy. Most people don't want to go through the stress of applying organic matter in the form of compost, in the form of manure to their crops. So they rely mostly on the chemical input. So, and this come at a cost. Apart from the price, the higher price, and the time that it will take you to apply this, it also has some downside. And one of the downside of it is that you will not have more nourishing food at the end of the day. It's not as if you will not have food that are nourishing, but they will not be the way it would have been if you had restored life and grow your crops on a healthy soil. This is what happens when you have rich soil life. What I'm talking about, what I mean by rich soil life is a soil that is teeming with microbes, a soil that has plenty microorganisms that are beneficial to your crops. When you have such soil, that soil is healthy, and whatever thing you plant there, those microorganisms will help those crops to absorb most nutrients. And you know that in a soil there are macronutrients and micronutrients, and the macronutrients like the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are very easy to get by application of these chemical fertilizers. But the micronutrients like zinc, manganese, and iron, they are not as easily available in the soil, so it will not be that easy for you to get it because they are locked in the soil, and it will only take microorganisms and some chemical reactions for them to be broken down for their plants to absorb them. And even though these nutrients are micro, they are essential to your health. Let's take for example this maize plant that we have here. Maize, a corn contains zinc, and zinc is one of the micronutrients, and zinc in their natural state do not uh, are not free. So sometimes they form zinc oxide. They are combined with other elements in the soil. So before you are able to get that zinc into this plant, then something must happen. The bonds that are holding the zinc and the oxygen must be broken. And what will help that to happen is the microorganism in the soil, because this microorganism will release some chemicals that will now cause these reactions to take place. And when that reaction takes place, that is only when the zinc will be released for this corn to absorb them. Now let's imagine a farm that has life and this thing happens more effectively. Your crops are able, this maize plant is able to absorb those zinc effectively. The plant will do well, it will grow, and when the corn comes up, it will be packed with more zinc than in a soil that was degraded, than in a soil that did not have this microorganism to break down those zinc. That the corn from that soil can do well also, but it will not have much of those zinc in it. So when you eat the corn from those plants, from those crops that were planted on a degraded soil, you will not have much of that nutrient in your food. So that's why you see in this time many people depend so much on supplements, because most of these micronutrients are not available on their food. They have to rely on these supplements, and that is the reason why some people will tell you that the food that their grandparents used to eat are richer than the food that they are eating now. It's true, because during those times our forefathers used to rotate their crops. In short, they used to allow their farm to rest. Sometimes when they plant this year, they will allow it for maybe year, 2 years, 3 years before they now go back to that place to plant again. Before that period now passes, the soil must have recovered, the life in the soil must have returned, and they will now have a bountiful harvest that are rich in nutrients. But today, most of the farms here do not wait. They plant every year, and most of them plant only one crops year in, year out. And when that happens, the soil becomes degraded, the microorganism, the lives there will be lost. And if they were even using applying organic matter to the soil, it would have been better, because the organic matter would have helped in maintaining some of those soil life and even ensuring that they are doing well. But most of them now adopt these chemical fertilizers that do not help the microorganisms that are living in the soil. So when things like this happen, the food that we get, you see, some people will be complaining that they eat, though they eat, they are still feeling hungry. And even World Health Organization talked more about empty calories situation, whereby you eat food and have more food energy, but you don't have the needed nutrients in your body. And because of that, if you don't have most of this food energy in your or most of these nutrients, important nutrients, the micronutrients and the macronutrients in your body, you become sick easily. For example, that zinc that helps in boosting your immune system, if you don't have more of them, if your food is lacking in zinc, you little things you can get sick. Or if you have wounds, the healing process will be delayed because of the type of food that you have. But if you, except you have been enhancing it through supplementation, and that too involves money, and you cannot compare the nutrients that you are getting from natural source from the ones that they are getting through supplement. So this is one of the reasons why you should ensure that you restore life back to your soil. You should ensure that the life in your soil is healthy. Try and implement most of those principles, most of those regenerative principles, like crop rotation, mulching, composting, and you will enjoy the benefit. Apart from your crops doing well, your health will improve. Even those people that will feed from the produce that you get from your farm, they will enjoy, they will be healthier than if you had been planting without taking care of your soil. This is very important.